Have you ever thought about why some people easily reach their targets while others find it hard? Some people, even though they are smart and skilled, stay where they are. People who are successful quickly say that their success was due to luck or natural gifts, but the Stoics knew that success doesn't come from big surprises. At times, it's consistency that makes the difference, not ability or luck, but steady persistence over and over again, taking actions on purpose that lead to important. When you're trying to be the best, change is often Stoicism tells people to wait for inspiration until the right time. We think this waiting is pointless. What matters is that you show up for training, doing something every single day, no matter how think that strong leaders and speakers didn't become what they are. Overnight, they got better at what they did by practicing over and over again. Constant improvement. It wasn't a single big move, but a number of smaller ones, of regular actions that helped them build a strong base. This movie will show you the real power of consistency and how the mind creates it. Why it's important for building leadership and speaking skills, and most importantly, how to use steadiness to help you on your way to what mental growth means and how powerful it is, what continuity means and how strong it is. What makes you start the day with so much energy? Have you ever thought about why you're so ready to go? You set goals to learn a new language, but after a few weeks you give up. Language practice, reading more, and getting up early are all good things. But then, things go back to the way they were before the excitement wears off. They still feel guilty about not following through on what they said they would do. It's not because you're not smart that you once wanted it. You're losing out. Not because you don't have time. One thing that is always the same in Stoic thought. Being consistent isn't a big deal. It's a quiet routine. Being able to do small things every day, even when there is no inspiration, no reward, and no one is looking. It's not about blowing up with effort, it's about being there every day in silence. But imagine working out for only 10 minutes a day over and over again. A minute a day for 30 days adds up to 300. If you wait until you have a free day to do one big, hard 2-hour workout, if you skip the rest of the month, you'll still be less than the sum. Plus, your body will hurt, you won't want to do anything, and it is much more likely that you will stop. The difference doesn't lie in, if you want to grow a plant, you can't pour 20 liters of juice on it at once. You can water it once and forget about it for the rest of the month. The plant will die. But if you water it a little every day, the roots will grow and shoots will appear, grows slowly at first and then blooms. The consistency is like a light rain. Little by little, every day, it soaks into the ground and keeps life going. Stoic sage Epictetus said, "Nothing great is made all of a sudden. There's time to do your best and wait." That might sound harsh. It seems clear. But in today's fast-paced world of instant results, it's very important. Just to tell you, you can't make a seed grow faster, and you can't speed up your self-growth that is steady, is the beat of real Stoicism tells us that we can't change the outcome, but we can change how we act. Acts in the present. If you do one small thing each day that leads to good things, when you're making a strong road to your goal, you don't need a lot of. You only need to do the right thing over and over, even if it's a small thing. Always pay attention to people who are good at a skill, like music, sports, writing, code, etc. You won't see them shine all of a sudden one day. You'll see them do the same moves and play the same notes over and over again. Lines of code over and over again in a huge number of normal these days. What makes something special is being able to keep doing. The normal stability isn't flashy, and it doesn't say instant on the package. Being successful doesn't make you feel that excited rush, which is why it's the real key to making changes that last. The trouble is that we tend to don't think too little of small actions like missing a workout or putting off. We tell ourselves it's not a big deal if we break a promise we made to ourselves and study once. Not a big deal, but over time they add up. They make it hard to become the person we want to be. And the real person we are, on the other hand, if you promise to, when little things are done every day, amazing things happen. Not overnight, Not all of a sudden, but slowly and steadily. Consistency in work is like cutting a path through a thick forest. You have to work hard at first just to make a path, but if you walk it every day, the path will get clear, and one day you won't have to. If you try it, it will become a familiar route in your mind and your habit. This is something that the Stoic thinkers knew about identity. Deeply living a good and strong life doesn't happen all of a sudden. The ideas come from doing the right things every day. Mark Antony, the philosopher-emperor, didn't become a great example of how to be calm and strong. Not because he said smart things, but because he worked at it. Daily self-discipline, focus, and patience. But perseverance, having faith, doesn't mean being stubborn or having to be perfect. Don't worry if you mess up or fall short some days because you'll be tired. It's important that you keep going, even if yesterday didn't go as planned. That's why, according to Stoicism, what's really important isn't doing much, but if you do it regularly, it's not about racing, but about running the marathon. It's not about being great right away, but about every day. Making steady growth teaches you a valuable lesson that real value doesn't. Lie not in big results, but in the small things you do every day, and that's you can boost your confidence without making big goals if you keep even small promises to yourself, like getting up on time or writing a short sentence, reading one page, drinking enough water to move for 5 minutes of small steps, done over and over again. That is your real power. So know that you don't have to do anything when you don't feel like it. You have to do a lot of things, but stop too. Scientific mechanism. Being consistent isn't a skill scientific method. The brain does it, and that's a strong thing. Have you ever thought about that? Why some things seem almost impossible at first and then become doable. Like when you learn to ride a bike for the first time. It's so easy you don't even have to think about it. Shaking and falling face first, your heart was beating. But after just a few tries, your brain learned how to balance after that, but you don't have to think about pedaling because you did it. It's not magic. Science, and it's the quiet power of uniformity in the brain here. Neuroplasticity is the brain's power to shift and reorganize itself every time you think about it. When you do something over and over, you make a tiny mark in your brain. Like a tourist who keeps going down the same path through a forest, the steps are thick and heavy, but the way gets clearer as you walk. Gets your brain to work the same way it remembers, changes, and picks the most common way for each action that is done more than once. Boosts a neural route, which is just one small link among billions of others. Time, that action turns into a habit, so if you meditate for just 2, if you read for 5 minutes every night or 10 minutes in the morning, you're not just by changing something small, you're telling your brain a message. This is important. This is what I choose, and your brain is very loyal. Starts to change to make that easier for you. Stoicism isn't the right way of life for Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "Ideas for doers, not dreamers." A time ago, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. It was more than just a call for moral high ground in that line. No matter how great the idea is, it's just theory if you don't repeat it. You could read about Stoicism every day and make it a habit, morning, but if you don't learn to stay calm when you're angry or strict if you give in to temptation, the theory stays the same, just words. We know and live between understanding and becoming, and then we move into the compound effect is another powerful effect. Imagine putting just $1 putting a little money into a savings jar every day doesn't seem like much, does it? Things that happen, but after a year, you've got $365 after 3 years, which is more than $1 million if you don't count interest. Big changes always is made up of small amounts. Your brain works the same way. So every time you decide to stick with something instead of giving up, by taking action instead of putting things off, you're building an inner power that you can't see. Everyone doesn't notice the change at first, but one day you look up and do. I'm not putting things off anymore. You haven't changed at all. Knowledge, but in the many small times you chose to show up. Being consistent isn't about doing everything correctly. It's about being there every time. Even when you're at your worst, even when you're tired, lazy, or seeing you get nothing done, because that's when you're building a secret power of trust. Trust in yourself doesn't come from big wins. It comes from one easy fact. You did not give up, and when you understand how this works, you will no longer chase after it. Do not keep looking until you find that one piece of advice that changes your life, because you understand you don't need more. For motivation, you need disciplined consistency. The Stoic mindset has always been stressed the things you can change, and consistency is one of them. You can't change the way things turn out or make yourself better. You might not be stronger or better today, but you can still show up and start. That's a choice, and you can say it again. It's yours. Power. This isn't easy because our thoughts are always wanting things to happen right away. We live in the age of dopamine, when everything is quick and short. Delivery minute-by-minute alerts in that world, consistent rowing upstream, feels like it's going slowly, over and over, and a little dull. But that's exactly why the relentless ones stand out. If they don't see effects after 7 days, they quit. But you keep going for 30 days, 60 days, and so on. 100, and the results don't happen because you're better. They happen because you stayed longer, like someone hiking through the jungle, but wasn't stronger than a tiger. But they took steady steps and held their breath the whole time. Slips up, but in the end, that person runs farther than anyone else who has ever rushed. You don't need to take huge steps, just keep going. And it's okay if you fail. Stoicism tells us that mistakes are, as long as you don't give up, every step of the way will be worth it. The road is still there, and each time you walk it, it becomes more clear that the secret isn't there. Showing up on day 1 is the key to a great first day. 101. Your brain always hears you. You don't have to be smart to use it. You just have to keep telling yourself who you want to be, and it will happen. Changing shape to help you get there, but it doesn't sparkle, doesn't shine right away, but gives depth and depth. Never. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be strong, so don't think that it does. Amazing. It just teaches you how to stay centered in chaos and strong in you're tired and always doubting yourself because you can't control you can choose what you repeat. And what you repeat is what you turn into 3 specific examples. Specific cases to show what I mean. Have you ever thought about why some people only study for 10 minutes a day? Still, after a few months, they make amazing growth and can speak fluently. Others put in hours of work just once a month to end, while others act with faith back to the beginning. The difference isn't in powerful. The key is to be consistent and show up every day like you said you would. Do not talk to anyone else. Let's use a very specific case to learn person A from Japan studies for 10 minutes every day for a year. However, person B spends 3,650 minutes, which is about 60 hours. It sounds like 2 hours a month is a lot, but at the end of the year that's only 24 hours, is not even half of person A's time. And that's not even taking into account that learning for 2 hours a month often means forgetting what you've learned speed, having to go back or even start from scratch. The answer, person A goes on, because our brains aren't built that way. It understands better and remembers things longer. To learn by studying. Instead, they're designed to take in information through gentle, repeated exposure. Consistency in exposure is the quiet but very powerful lever. Doesn't scream, shine, or make you say wow from the start. But over time, it beats every short burst of work. Learning a language is, you can't just pour a bucket of water on a tree one day and forget about it for a while. The tree will die the rest of the month if you don't water it a little. Every day, it will grow roots, sprout branches, and get bigger. Little our minds work the same way. They need steady food, not just once in a while. Overloads, and then disregard. And this is a fact that doesn't just use in learning and exercise. For example, if you do 10 push-ups, just a few minutes a day, and after a few weeks, your body starts to change how it works. If you only work out once a month, your muscles won't react and your energy won't go up. No matter how hard you work for an hour, all you'll get is, when you're sore, your body doesn't see that as growth. It sees it as a shock. Since you're likely to quit soon after, the question is no longer what can I do in one day? The real question is how many days in a row can I be stoic? Someone named Seneca wrote, "No man was ever smart by chance. No one learns a skill, gains strength, or boosts their drive through a one-time effort to gain knowledge, strength, and success. They are all because of small decisions made every day, not only when you want to, but also when you don't. And if you save just $1 a day, you'll learn the same thing about saving money. Since it's so small, most people don't pay attention to it. After a year, you'll have $365 after 10 years. It's not cheap to save $3,650 until the end of the year. There is a 90% chance that you will spend all of what's left. The Stoic philosophy doesn't focus on short-term success. Being disciplined and always doing what's right are lessons we learn from it. No matter how you feel today, Marcus Aurelius wrote "When you meditate, you control your mind, not the outside world." Events understand this, and you'll find strength. The next month is out of your hands, but you can pick the right today. And if you do the same thing every day, you'll be living by Stoic theory. Doesn't need to be yelled at, or big expectations, only self-control. But saying it's easy to do consistency is hard because you have to beat an enemy you know well. Putting things off. There will be days when you're tired and think, "I'll do it tomorrow." It's those times when nothing seems to have changed after a week or even a month that things really start to change. Stoicism teaches us about inner freedom and the fact that you have the best chance to train yourself. Doesn't come from avoiding trouble, but from facing it and pushing through it. Remember that all you have to do is do it. Even if you only learn 5 Japanese words today, you'll have made progress. If you work out for just 7 minutes, it still adds up if you lose 1 pound. Putting $1 into your savings account is still the right thing to do. To reach perfection, all you have to do is go back to it after falling short. One more time, and then one more time every day, because the little things that add up help the most in the long run. If you've read this far, I'm not going to tell you anything else. When I ask what big thing you'll do next month, I only mean what's the anything you can do today, do it, and then do it again tomorrow. Problems and ways to solve them. Have you ever thought why you keep running into the same 4 problems? We often start a lot of things, but only finish a few. Excitement, a plan to improve your English, a promise to. If you want to write, learn an instrument, or grow as a person. But just after a few days, the original excitement starts to fade. Fade. Every time we give up, we ask ourselves, am I just not motivated? Enough? We're not upset about how we feel. It's that we're waiting to feel something before we act, which is the mistake we make. They don't trust their feelings and don't wait for a good day. They know that stability doesn't come from inspiration, comes from hard work. Epictetus once said, Don't just talk about your theory, live it. You should live your life by what you believe in and show it every day. In a world where things are always changing, showing up every day is the greatest form of embodiment. Even when you're not good enough, when you're not motivated, or when you don't feel like it, people often have this problem, but they still do something about it. Lack of drive, but Stoicism doesn't care much about drive because drive really feels, and thoughts change all the time. The weather could be sunny today and stormy tomorrow if you only work out if you only study when it's fun, you'll never get the body you want. Socrates taught us this. Never get good at what you do. It's not a limit to do the right thing even if you don't feel like it. If you act before you're sure you're ready, you give yourself power. Take charge of your feelings. You're no longer a slave to them. One strong way to fix it is to start with small habits, and ideas will come after. Like instead of thinking, don't worry about writing 1,000 words, just write one. Just put on your shoes and go for a 5-minute walk. That little thing is what starts the fire. Remember that no one finishes. They finish a book just by being inspired to do so every day, even during the worst days. But even when you're ready to move, something comes up. These days, you don't even have to go anywhere to get a headache. Just pick up your phone to see your notifications, videos, and texts, getting your attention all the time, and it gets worse when they bring voices that sound real. Scroll down a bit. I need a break. I'll start by saying that Stoicism tells us that even though we can't change the past, we can change the present. Handle our situations. We can handle there are options. And the most obvious one is to get rid of what's distracting you and turn it off. If you don't want to see notifications, put your phone somewhere else. Create a setting that encourages. If you want to get work done, don't fight distractions once they show up. Getting rid of them at their source is easy with the 2-minute rule. Start right away. Don't think, don't wait, don't weigh your body. Choice. If you want to study English, open the app. If you want to keep a record, pick up a putting on your shoes is the first thing you should do if you want to go for a walk. Gate. Once you get through it, everything gets easier. But even if you do everything, do something every day and get rid of all the things that are distracting you. The main issue is this. You work out for 2 weeks, but don't see any progress. You've studied English for a month and your English is still the same. If you write badly for a month and no one reads it, you lose drive. This is where most people give up, not because they're weak, but people decide too quickly, and we're used to a fast-paced world. 30-second videos in 2 hours must be a hit quickly. Explosive, but in the real world, small acts done over and over again lead to real results. You haven't seen a seed grow every day for a long time. Even though you don't feel better after each run, it's already happening. Slowly, you don't notice the change, but it's real and the way to get through it. This will help you keep track of your progress and enjoy the little steps you take. Write down every time what you learned today, even if it's just one word, on your calendar. You show up, give yourself a prize for not skipping for a whole week. When you work out, those little wins are what keep you going. Stoicism doesn't promise quick success, but it does offer one thing. If you stick to your values and live by them, you'll never feel bad about yourself. That's more powerful than any drive you've ever had. Felt consistency isn't something only skilled people have. It's something everyone can use. Who are sure of what they want and are ready to work hard every day to get it. You don't have to be perfect today, but if you do something, you'll win when you come back tomorrow. If you keep going, even when no one sees or applauds, you'll build something strong. Don't ask how to feel inspired to make real change. What's one little thing I can do today to stay on? The consistency is not about how hard you work. It's about showing up every time. Especially when things are tough. If this speaks to you, please share one small thing. What you're going to do today in the comments. We're on the same page journey, and each small step you take is part of a much bigger move. Think of 5 3-step plans for keeping a 3-step plan for staying consistent. Have you ever thought, why do I always start but never finish? You plan to work out every afternoon and learn English every morning. You write in your notebook every night, but after a few days, everything is gone, and you feel bad about it. You think you're not disciplined or motivated, but the truth is that you're not. Not motivated enough, you're just... A Stoic thinker said that uniformity is not the result. It's as a way of life. The Stoics don't wait for motivation to act. They act anyway. They get ideas from and know that the little things we do every day slowly become who we are. Big changes never happen without small steps taken over and over again. But how can you stay consistent when your life is busy, your mood changes, and your drive drops? Is never quite enough. The answer is a 3-step process that is easy but effective. Method. Begin small, be responsible, and make it a step 1. Start by picturing a small version of yourself standing in front of, cut a way through a dense forest. If you rush in and try to do this, you'll fail. To finish a big part all at once, but then give up because it's too hard. This road will never be there. But if you walk a short stretch every day, take a few steps and cut back a few branches. Over time, a solid, clear path will form. That's how small things you do every day can add up to big changes if you want to learn for 2 hours a day. But don't set that as your first goal. Instead, start with, if you think 5 to 10 minutes a day isn't enough, try a simple adding up 10 minutes a day for 365 days, 60 hours a year. That's 60 hours you'd never have because you. No matter how big or small the power is, it doesn't depend on it. The intentional repetition that the Stoics teach us we can't do. Yes, we can change the world, but let's start with one small step today. Do something to change us. Step 2, stay. If you've ever sworn you'd do something and then broke your word a few days later, you're not. We're easy on ourselves when we're by ourselves, so it's easy to put things off. For that reason, this build-in is the second step to staying steady. There are many ways to hold yourself accountable. One way is to start writing down your path. Every time you study, work out, or take a small step forward, a notebook, a phone app, or anything else that can help you see yourself more clearly. Figure out where you want to go, or, better yet, find a person who doesn't have to be not an expert. Just someone who is willing to walk this path with you and check in with you every so often. Like two people working out together, they'll cheer you on and call you out when you need it. Being with someone else while you learn a new language makes you take yourself more seriously. The Stoics didn't live alone. They trained in groups with other people who did the same thing, shared their beliefs. They thought that having a good life wasn't just about working hard for yourself. It was about shared discipline, and duty is the third step. Make it a habit. You started small and got into a rhythm with responsibility. Now it's time to take the next step, is to make being consistent seem natural. This link is the key to your new A habit that already exists. Like brushing your teeth after you wash your every morning. Read for 10 minutes or every night after dinner. Make it a habit to work on your English accent. By adding something to something you already do, you lower the barrier, that laziness. A lot of the time, science backs up what our brains say. I love routine. When you do the same thing over and over in the same situation, it becomes second nature. Time. And that's when you don't need any more inspiration to keep going. Set yourself up to show up. The Stoics knew this from the start. Everyday ethics, reason, and calmness as a way to stay alive. They didn't wait for the right idea. Instead, they set up tools to help them do it. Right thing, no matter how they felt. Why does this method work? Talks about the reasons why most people don't stick to their habits. Start too big, and there won't be anyone checking in or a method that can be used again and again. When you start out small, on the other hand, you are responsible and you make it. You automatically build a winning cycle, which is why athletes and other great performers, folks from the arts to business people to thinkers, all live by a steady rhythm. Every day they don't try to do wonders, they just show up. Always do what you need to do and let the magic happen on its own. So if you're not in the mood to sprint, that's okay. You just need to write an English sentence for 5 minutes right after this movie. Do a push-up, read a small piece of Stoic advice, write it down, and read it again. You don't have to do everything tomorrow, but you do have to do something. Always keep in mind what Marcus Aurelius said. No one can stop you from. You are the only one who can stop you from doing this, and if you've made it this far, good job. It's likely that you're ready to start small and ready to live a purposeful and disciplined life like a real stiff, so start today, right now. If this message was helpful to you, please leave a reply with one small thing you'll do. Sign up for the channel today to make sure you don't miss any more inspiring videos. It only takes one click to bring about change, but the effects are huge. In the end, being consistent isn't some high goal. It's just about doing something, over and over, making it a habit that strengthens brain pathways. Stoic thinking says to let the effects build up over time. Philosophy. Persistence isn't about beating other people. It's about sticking. One day at a time, be true to yourself. You don't have to start big this time. Start, what small thing are you going to do today to stay longer? Every day, write down one small step you promised to take and share it in the comments below. It could be reading for 5 minutes and breathing for 1 minute. To concentrate, turn off your phone for 10 minutes. Remember that success doesn't come from one big jump, comes from a string of steady daily steps. Be the person who shows up even if it's only a little. If you found this video useful, please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell button. You won't miss any more video. Just watch the next one. Every day, keep getting better.